Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to be joined today by Rich Rosenthal, of course, Medford Parks and Recreation Director. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
So, pretty eventful City Council study session last night. Not a meeting. They didn't vote on anything, but the city is right now pursuing a pretty large aquatic center, event center. Tell us about this thing. This is big.
Well, it was a pretty pleasing outcome or direction from
you,
City Council last night. It was a study session. No decisions are made, but the staff presented concepts for an indoor aquatics facility and also an event center, which are two types of recreation facilities that have been examined and over the years. So Council signaled last night that they're interested in the full scope of event center as well as an aquatics facility.
Wow, and this thing is big. So we're talking like take it from here, but 2 indoor water slides kind of going indoor-outdoor. We have a lap pool and indoor pool around the water slides, a lazy river, room for basketball courts. This is indoor, but also can be used for event center. I mean, how big would this facility be?
The total square footage would be about 160,000 square feet as proposed now in the concept. The aquatic space would be about 43,000 square feet of that. Half of it would be a recreation pool, leisure pool, and the other half would be a competition pool where swim meets could be held and water polo matches, et cetera. That is a major deficiency in the valley. And the shared support space, the restrooms, the changing rooms, the office spaces, the rentable spaces that could also support a 90,000 square foot indoor event center. A big open space that could be configured for recreation purposes, basketball, volleyball, pickleball, et cetera, but also for trade shows, car shows, anything. You can do a lot of things in 2 acres, almost 2 acres of covered space.
To give people an idea of this kind of size, when you're throwing big square footage in acres at me, I get lost. So Santo Center, how big is that in comparison?
The Santo Community Center gym is about 12,000 square feet. This would be about 8 times larger.
Massive.
And it would be the same type of simple construction, simple, durable, nothing fancy about the structure, but it's highly versatile and functional.
Okay, and how much would the facility as a concept right now cost?
The cost estimate, the low end is probably about 57 million. The high end would be about 60.6 million. It's in that range. Now, we were asked to bring forward concepts and preliminary cost estimates, and we've worked with ORW Architecture and Aquatics Design Group. They've helped us come up with the concept here. And so that's what we think it would be in 2019 dollars.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about kind of timeline, when council could vote, when we, the residents, of course, of Medford could vote on this, because it's going to take a bit of support from the community. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, Rich Rosenthal here with Medford Parks and Recreation, talking about this this pretty large concept for a Medford pool, event center, and many things that we can do with this. But where is it located? First off, it's in West Medford.
Well, the proposed location is the Howard Memorial Sports Park in West Medford on the corner of Ross and Ross Anley.
Okay, and as we talked about, City Council discussed this last night, kind of gave the go-ahead. They're not voting on anything. Obviously, the public hasn't voted on anything, but Parks and Rec is able to begin the process, for lack of a better phrase. We'll talk about this process and how many steps we have to go through before this can become a reality.
Well, the City Council signaled that it was interested in hearing more about potential funding mechanisms for it, further refinement of the concept, the full scope concept. And, we brought them last night the basic information, enough information for them to make an informed decision. Now, we're not even close to breaking ground. They need to finalize the funding for it, and there's a whole lot of engineering and architectural work that needs to go into it before anything happens.
Yeah, and as in case people missed part one, there's a couple water slides, there's like a competition swimming pool, racing, Olympic-sized swimming pool?
No, it's a 25 by 33.
Okay.
Olympic-sized pool is a 50-meter pool. This would be 33, which is large enough, plenty large, for swim meets and for water polo.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on in this bit large concept idea. the city of Medford has said repeatedly that voters, I shouldn't say voters, that the city residents support a public pool, but we've seen recently, not too long ago, that voters haven't approved this kind of thing. How do you guys tackle that?
Well, what we know from survey and through the leisure services plan process or from our survey data is people have long supported the concept of new aquatics facilities in Medford. It's just that they've rejected the proposed funding mechanism for it, which 4 times had been a question of whether people would approve a property tax increase. And they rejected that in 1971, 88, 98, and again, and most recently in 2012. But people, through our surveys, say that they would be more open to perhaps a utility fee increase or other funding mechanisms, and there would be 3 or 4 of them potentially that would be necessary for this to happen.
Okay, and to give people, again, the money, it's somewhere in the range. It's obviously very approximate right now, very early in the process, 55, 60 million in that range. The police station, other things the city has done, big dollar figures. How does that compare?
Well, in context, the city recently built a brand new police station and rebuilt or built new fire stations, 3 of them, and that was a little over $30 million in recent years. So public facilities are not inexpensive endeavors, but they also last, as we've seen with Jackson Aquatics Center, they can last for decades. So, the prices, the cost of these things are probably not going to go down. They'll probably only go up. That's how inflation works and supply and demand. So yeah, it's a big number, but there is a path forward to find a way to finance this.
Okay, and again, it's a long process and we are very early in it. When could voters see this on the ballot?
Well, it's a policy decision, of course, for the City Council. And the one thing, one of the potential funding mechanisms would be an increase to the lodging tax, the hotel motel tax. TLT is the technical acronym for it, and that would have to go to voters either directly in a question of whether they would approve an increase to that or a change to the city's charter that would allow City Council to do it without having to go to voters in the future. But something is going to have to go to the voters sometime, and it's up to the council about the timing.
Okay, could we see it next year? Is that possible?
Theoretically, very much possible.
Okay, well, the first interview of probably many we'll do on this very interesting topic. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.